Viewers, welcome back to the second part of the March Anew series. And as we told last time, Anew series is about collating all the positive news that happens around the country that's going to be of great benefit to the country, and see how citizens can listen to it and feel good and at least have put their best foot forward to make this country a better place. So last time we connected with you on the international events that were going to have a lot of significance to India. This time we are going to talk about 3 or 4 important national initiatives which is going to actually benefit a large part of our population. The first thing I think is very important is that the government has allowed private sector banks to participate in all government businesses. Now, why is it this significant? Because traditionally it was only the government banks which were public sector undertaking banks which were participating in government business. So anytime we know that efficiency never improves if there is no competition. Now, being within the government banking system, I think the government itself was not getting the benefits of good technology or good service or new ideas. Now, there are a lot of things that we have to read between the lines. When they say they're going to allow private sector to participate in government business, it's a very clear sign the government has started seeing the private sector banks on equal footing with the government banks. So that's a very positive thing, number one. Number two, it is also going to increase the competition amongst the banks, and therefore the customer is going to get benefited, because the moment they start changing the system to cater to one particular set of audience, obviously it will also have a rub-off effect on their services and the quality of offerings to the other segments. The third thing, it is a very, very clear sign of upcoming privatization of even the existing public sector undertaking, which I think is a very positive step, because the moment it comes into private sector, definitely it's going to improve the quality of service to people. It's going to improve the hygiene levels at these banks. It also, in a very sweet way, I think after 53 years after the nationalization of many of these private sector banks, I think it's going to be a sweet revenge when the government is going to privatize all these banks and going to get back into the private hands. Now, one of the advantages that we had when the nationalization of banks was that these banks went on to bring in a lot of social inclusiveness. Like India was a country which was deeply divided on caste and religious lines, and therefore some of these segments of the society which came from the lower aspect of the perceived the hierarchy of the castes have been able to find social justice. That's been the positive. But the negative has been that these public sector banks have always been under the influence of the politicians and the babus, and therefore there has been a general trend of deterioration, both with respect to the asset quality that they have, adoption of technology, and also bringing in new innovative products. And therefore I think privatization is really going to improve the depth of the banking system. It's going to expand the rural reach, and it's going to improve a lot with respect to using technology to bring in lower cost and improve the services to the country. So that's one very positive thing. The second positive thing, I think, which is really important to the bottom of the pyramid people, is the government food ministry has launched a Mera Ration mobile app. Now, we all know that mobile app has been, mobile phones have been one of the biggest factors that is bridging the gap between the haves and have-nots, at least with respect to being able to communicate, with respect to being able to access certain benefits, and also with respect to doing their daily chores. Now, one of the most, gruesome scenes, or one of the very impacting scenes that we saw during the lockdown last year, exactly 1 year back, was people were traveling 400-500 kilometers in foot and cycles, and all the migrant laborers had very nightmarish experiences, because they were not only uprooted from their cultural moorings, they had come to a new place, but they also had to go back because they had lost their jobs, and that was a very bad sight to see. Now, this government recently has been pursuing this one nation one ration card initiative, and that's brought a lot of success. Now, with bringing this Mera Ration mobile app, the ration card holders, especially the migrant workers, are going to be greatly benefited because of it. And also it will allow people to get their subsidized food grains from any one of the fat price shops across the country, and it's going to further speed up the process of one nation one ration card policy. And this is also a very clear sign of direct benefit transfer coming up in future for anything that we are buying from ration card. So it is quite possible that instead of in future, that instead of giving things at a subsidized price, it is possible that they are given at market price, and then the subsidy is transferred to the card holder. Now, what we have seen with respect to the gas subsidy being abolished and then it being given as a refund is that we have seen that the misuse of the gas has to commercial establishment has substantially come down, because these are also Aadhaar linked. In the same manner, instead of giving goods at a cheaper rate, if it's given at a market rate and then the beneficiary is directly transferred, I think a lot of this proliferation and these goods, food grains and pulses being diverted to open market can be actually be removed, because the beneficiary is always going to be the person for whom it is targeted. So I think direct benefit transfer is one of the very effective ways for people to get the benefit that it is intended for them. And this whole Mera Ration mobile app, I think, is a precursor to seeing direct benefit transfer coming up in one more social welfare scheme. The third aspect, the third event that has played out recently is there are a lot of aircraft leasing companies that has come to the gift city, which is Gujarat, Industries and Financial. This thing, you have a new SEZ kind of a structure in Gujarat, which is predominantly for the financial industries. Now, a lot of aircraft leasing companies are coming and setting up shops. What is going to be the impact? So we have seen that government has launched the Udan scheme, which means they're going to connect a lot of B and C towns to the air network, and we are going to use a lot of the World War II unused aircraft strips, which are always on standby for military use, being put to much better use. And therefore you will be able to see that people from the tier 2 and tier 3 cities will also be able to connect to the bigger cities, and the trade and business can happen faster. So by having these aircraft leasing companies come to India, you're going to see that the depth of the Indian aviation sector will increase. It will be able to provide good employment opportunities to both the commerce graduates and people in hospitality industry. As the industry grows, it's definitely going to provide increased direct tax collection from people who are employed. See, the gift city has got a benefit where maybe the income earned out of that place is not going to be taxed. But because it's going to provide a lot of employment, and therefore there will be a direct tax connections from the people who are employed in this place. So it's a very smart move, and it is the when you have a width of industry coming into these things, the employment opportunity increases, and obviously this itself becomes a magnet for many other industries to come set up. Now, if you've seen anywhere in the world, the financial centers have grown because initially a few good companies decided to come, and then they create a pool of employees, which once again becomes a reason for other people in the industry to come and set up shop. In the Indian software industry or the Indian automobile industry or auto ancillaries, they all got created because one or two people came, and then it became the others started coming coming here because they were able to get the talent pool. The third aspect on the same aviation sector is DG Director General of Civil Aviation has cleared Kushinagar Airport to operate international flights. Now, this is going to be the third international airport in UP after Lucknow and Varanasi. Now, why is it significant? UP is one of the states which is large and which is also heavily populated, and therefore providing employment opportunity for these people who so far have been solely dependent on agriculture, predominantly dependent on agriculture and also crafts. So we all know that tourism and hospitality industries can actually employ a large segment of people, and Kushinagar Airport is actually bang in the middle of the Buddhist circuit. So one of the biggest soft powers of India, which we have not put to very great use, is that we have a good Buddhist tourist circuit, because Lord Buddha was born very close to our borders, and many of the Buddhist structures, the place where he got enlightened, is all in India, Gaya in Bihar. So it is the Kushinagar Airport is actually equidistant from Lumbini, Shravasti, Kapilavastu, Sarnath and Gaya. So every day around 200 to 300 devotees from Thailand, Cambodia, Japan and Myanmar are actually even now coming to these holy cities, and therefore putting up an airport there and using the soft power of Buddhism tourism, Buddhist tourism is really going to pan out very well for that state and also for the country. And this once again is an extension of the Udaan scheme that the government is pursuing to create employment and also provide connectivity. So this is going to provide a lot of opportunities for people who are service providers, mainly with respect to providing manpower, air conditioners, UPS and anything related to hospitality industry. So that's another very positive news. So with this we will end the national segment in this part, and the next part, please stay connected. We'll bring you it will be a two-part series. Once again, in the next two parts we will connect a lot of trends that are happening around the country, which is going to have a very positive impact. And obviously for a lot of entrepreneurs it will be a big takeaway for you if you stay connected and watch our next two part of the March Anew series, because you're going to get a lot of insight where the business world is growing and where you will be able to take your business. Thank you so much, viewers, for subscribing to us and staying connected to us. We hope we are able to offer a lot of value to you. Thank you for all your comments and positive motivation. Please stay connected. We'll soon come with the next part, which is going to be on trends. Thank you. Stay healthy and stay safe.